A very important month of October is ahead for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. On yesterday, they traveled to Lincoln Parish in Louisiana to take on the G-Men of Grambling State. Could Coach Connell Maynard and company pick up a victory against the G-Men and propel them for a big game against Jackson State for homecoming? We'll find out next on the Alabama A&M Football Review Show with me, Mo Carter, who's filling in for Ted Dixie.
Welcome to the Alabama A&M Football Review. Highlights, features, and analysis with head coach Connell Maynard. Brought to you by Protective Life, Union Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, and University Kia.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Alabama A&M Football Review Show with head coach Connell Maynard. I'm Mo Carter, filling in for Ted Dixie. Of course, the Bulldogs coming off of a week in which they took on a SWAC opponent in Grambling State over in Lincoln Parish. Coach, when you think about Grambling State, the only name that really is synonymous really with the Tigers is Eddie Robinson. Can you kind of talk about what the impact of Eddie Robinson's name to HBCU football means to you?
It means everything. I actually played against Eddie Robinson my senior year. We played Grambling in the Cotton Bowl when I was at North Carolina A&T, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get a W against him. But he was a living legend at that time, and he has improvised HBCU football. And every coach wants to be like Eddie Robinson. He got a lot of coaches started in the business, and as you know, he has so many great at Grambling football players that was coached by Eddie Robinson. So he has his name forever stamped in HBCU, and so many people want to be just like him or walk in his shoes, and he's been a great example for HBCU football.
One of the guys he did coach was Broderick Fobbs, the head coach now of Grambling. You took on this team on Saturday. Unfortunately, things didn't go in the manner in which you thought they shoulda, coulda, or woulda went for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. What are some of your thoughts when you think about what happened in yesterday's game?
Well, we had opportunities. But you got to take your hats off to Coach Fobb and Grambling. We knew they was going to fight us. They had the backs up against the wall a little bit. They couldn't afford another loss. I think it was their first home game, homecoming. So we knew they had all that momentum and everything built up for them, and they was going to come out and fight. We jumped up on them 14-0. Unfortunately, then we start turning the ball over. The defense was playing great. I don't think Grambling had crossed the 50-yard line, and we turned the ball over and gave them some life, and they scored and kind of got back in the game. And then we just seemed like we couldn't stop the turnover bug, and we wound up with 6 turnovers. And I really say 7 because of the onside kick. And so it's hard to beat any football team with 7 turnovers, much less a good football team.
All right, we will take a look at those first half highlights from Alabama A&M and Grambling State when we return right here on the Alabama A&M Football Review Show with head coach Connell Maynard.
Don't get hit hard by low trade offers.
Get up to $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. Check out our large selection of new Kias. University Kia proudly supports Alabama A&M University football. Go Bulldogs!
Brian Hicks, Director of Athletics, Alabama A&M University.
I'm Connell Maynard, Head Football Coach, Alabama A&M University.
Coach, are you ready for some football?
I was born ready. So, get your season tickets today.
Woo!
The Nature Boy.
In golf, if you make a mistake, there is a mulligan. Well, in God, if you make a mistake, there is mercy. Aren't you glad God has mercy for your mistakes? Hello, I am PT, Pastor Troy. I want to invite you to come and worship with us at the Fellowship of Faith, where Jesus is exalted and the Word is explained. We love Alabama A&M. Go Bulldogs.
And welcome back to the Alabama A&M Football Review Show. Mo Carter filling in for Ted Dixie. I'm alongside Coach Connell Maynor. Coach, taking a look at how things went in the first half, you guys jump out to a 14-0 lead. Quill Glass connects with D. Anderson for 2 touchdowns. I know you and your staff had to be feeling good to get off to the quick start.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. We knew, like I said, they were jacked up, homecoming, first home game, backs against the wall. And so we wanted to match the intensity, knock the breath out of them. And that's what we was able to do. We was able to jump up on them 14-0.
Right.
But then we kind of fizzled out. We couldn't sustain it. But we was feeling good at that point in the football game. But you got to continue to do the things you did to get you that 14-point lead on defense, which they was playing great football. And then offensively, moving the ball, moving the chains, getting first downs, not jumping off sides, no penalties. You got to continue doing those things for 4 quarters, and obviously we didn't do that.
All of a sudden, your offense starts to get sloppy. I mean, whether it was a fumble on kickoffs or interceptions by Quill Glass, and all those turnovers led to Grambling State points and also put Grambling in great position to score on short fields. Next thing you know, we're looking at a 24-14 deficit at the half. I mean, what the heck happened, basically in the second quarter and beyond?
Well, it started, I think, with D. Anderson, second touchdown, and he got a 15-yard penalty. And then that backed us up, and we kicked one out of bounds. And so instead of giving it at 35, they got it at the 50. And that kind of started the snowball effect. They went down and scored, and then the next time they scored, they kick off. We run it back to the 50-yard line, and we get a holding penalty call, and that backs us back up to the 12-yard line. And so things just started going backwards right there, and had a little snowball effect. And, Grambling, like I said, you got to take your hats off to Grambling and Coach Fobbs. They never quit. They kept fighting. And we started off on a 14-0 run, and they went 24 unanswered. We went into halftime down 24-14, and Grambling getting the ball coming out. So we knew we had our work cut out for us. And at that point, you almost got to play perfect football. It's like I tell the guys about their grades. If you get off to a bad start and make a D and an F on the first 2 tests, then you got to ace the next 2 or 3 tests.
Right.
Make sure you just pass the class. So we was almost to that point where we got to play perfect football now. Now we got to have 2 A's in third and fourth quarter and play mistake-free football, and we wasn't able to do that. We didn't play mistake-free football in the second half. And so we had a game plan to come out and stop shooting ourselves in the foot and just play solid football, because one of Grambling touchdowns, the safety supposed to have the slot, and he went down in the flats, and he threw it right over his head to the guy for a touchdown. And the quarterback had pressure on him. We had pressure on the quarterback. He had to stop and throw off his back foot. Mm-hmm. If the safety played the coverage, the quarterback throws him the ball. Or he have to eat that for a sack, and they probably out of field goal range. The last touchdown they scored in the right-hand corner, we had a guy, we was in cover 3, and they threw a touchdown right in his spot. And he said he slipped. But you can't slip in those situations, So we had the perfect calls called. And again, we're blowing coverages in coverage. We're not really getting beaten man. Mm-hmm. We're playing coverage. And our guys are not getting the calls for whatever reason, not playing the coverage call, and it's costing us in the secondary.
You talk about quarterback play. We'll talk about Quill Glass in just a second, but Grambling was starting a true freshman quarterback in Noah Biden, I think is how you correctly say his name. Or at least that's what they were saying on the broadcast. It was his first time starting, and I knew for sure you had to get with your defensive coordinator and be like, we got to get some pressure on this guy, but it seemed like he had all the time in the world in most cases to get the ball out. Also, he was working with short fields after those turnovers.
Yeah, he was. We gave him just for a freshman quarterback in his first start, to give him good field position like that, to give him confidence to be able to make plays and play at a high level. Unfortunately, we did that for him, giving him good field position, those opportunities. But he was a big kid, and he shook off a couple of tackles. When we did bring some pressure, we hit him a couple of times, and he spin out, and then a couple of times we had guys there, and he just gave him one little jab step and stepped to his right and made him miss and keep the play alive and made a couple of plays down the field. So he did a great job in his first start of making us miss, and we did a bad job of containing him and making the tackle when we had the opportunity. Therefore, you get 24 unanswered points, and we're down 10 points at halftime.
All right, Coach talks about being down at the half. When we return on the Alabama A&M Football Review Show, we'll take a look at those second half highlights and also take a look at how Alabama A&M made a near comeback in this contest. Stay with us.
Good job.
Parker is 29 and learning to communicate again. The students teaching him earn a degree with 100% job placement. But the real reward is changing a life. At Alabama A&M, it's a university where agencies actually go to recruit compassionate students who help themselves by helping others. Service is sovereignty at Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
Don't get hit hard by low trade offers.
Get up to $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. Check out our large selection of new Kias. University Kia proudly supports Alabama A&M University football. Go Bulldogs!
Union Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, a church with a big heart of love. Located at 315 Winchester Road in Huntsville, Alabama. Under the leadership of Dr. O. Wendell Davis. The worship services begin at 7:45 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. every Sunday. Now, we pray that you are blessed by our worship experience.
Hello, I'm Pastor Troy. The game of football is a lot like the game of life. You have to tackle your problems and block your fears. I just want you to know there is victory in Jesus. I want to invite you to worship with us at one of our anointed services at our Huntsville campus or our Madison campus. At the Fellowship of Faith, Jesus is exalted and the word is explained. We love Alabama A&M. Go Bulldogs!
Companies hunger for our food scientists. Here, a new generation manages our cities of tomorrow. The discovery of hardier plants, healthier animals, is growing at our research station, Alabama A&M University, where new designs and ideas are put to the test. Be a researcher in our labs, or a forestry fire dog in our fields. Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
And we're back on the Alabama A&M Football Review Show. I'm Mo Carter filling in for Ted Dixie. I'm with Coach Connell Maynor. Coach, you come out of the locker room. You were down, especially with Grambling scoring so many unanswered points. First of all, what was the message to your team about what they have to do to get back into this game?
Well, first of all, I told the defense I thought they was playing well, and that we gave them short fields and momentum turns, and for the most part, they did a good job. But they really, we gave it the points on blown coverages. And so I told them we just got to be smart. Everybody do your job. If you got a third, if you got contained, if you got a half, do your job, play your job. We had the perfect calls. If we would have been what we were supposed to, we would have had interceptions in those situations. So I told the defense, just keep doing what you're doing, keep playing hard, and everybody do their job for one play at a time. Offensively, we just got to stop turning the ball over and do what we did the first quarter. and drive the ball down and score and execute at a high level that we've used to been doing, what we've done all year long. So it wasn't a big yelling or fussing out. It was, you know, they went on 24 unanswered, we're going to go on 35 unanswered. And that's what our game plan was coming out of halftime.
All right, when we look at offensive production, I mean, Aquil Glass put together a program record of over 440-something yards, threw for 4 touchdowns, but unfortunately, he had 4 interceptions plus a fumble, and all of those turnovers led to Grambling points. I mean, when you look at the performance of your quarterback, I mean, what stands out? Well, you know what? We know the turnovers stand out, so kind of just give you your thoughts on how you were seeing these things happen yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about it. You know, we've been turning the ball over a lot this year. I think we was averaging 3 turnovers a game, and you know, we tell these guys, you know, that's going to catch up to you when you start playing good football teams, and we can't do that. Offensively, we got to take care of the football. We cannot turn the ball, throw the ball to the other team, fumble it, put it on the ground, get the ball to the other team, put our defense in those situations. We have to take care of the football. We didn't do that again. Aquil Glass, he had 4 touchdown passes, but at the end of the day, he had 4 interceptions and a fumble, all of them costly. And, you know, I was playing a game, and at the end of the game, the last possession, and we called a bootleg, and I put the ball out. And instead of seating the ball on my stomach, I put it on my hip. And the running back hit it. And, of course, it went on the ground, and the defense recovered, and it cost us the football game. And I think that was my freshman year. And at the end after the game, the coach told the team, don't worry about Maynard. We're going to be fine with Maynard. He's going to win us more games than he loses. And so Aquil, same thing with Aquil. You know, he's going to be fine. He's won us a lot of football games. He's going to win us a lot more football games. It's just one game. It's one game, and the good thing about that loss is we still control our own destiny because Grambling is on the other side. And so we went out, beat everybody on our side. They would have at least 1 loss, and we got 1 loss, but we win the head-to-head, so we'll still represent our side. So we're okay. We just got to get a lot of stuff cleaned up. And if we can get that stuff cleaned up, we got a great chance to still win our side and compete in the SWAT championship.
I posted about the loss yesterday on social media, and your offensive coordinator, Dwayne Taylor, quoted and said, hey, we have to do better, and I have to do better. Does that kind of become a sentiment of what the entire team needs to do moving forward with a very important October stretch coming up?
Yes, sir. We have to look in the mirror, and it all starts with me. I'm the head football coach, so I got to look in the mirror of what I'm doing, overseeing this offense and defense and special teams and the players. And so I got to start with me, and then we start with the coordinators and the coaches, and we start with the players. The players have to look in the mirror, and we're not going to point fingers because, Mo, when I point my finger at you, I got 3 pointing at myself. So we're not going to point fingers. We're going to find a way. We're going to get this stuff corrected. We're going to study the film, learn from the mistakes, not make those same mistakes, and we're going to go down the stretch run playing at a high level.
And we'll wrap up this segment with this. Of course, yes, that was a SWAC loss, but it wasn't a division loss. How important are things now with a small margin of error for your team moving forward?
Oh, it's very small. We can't lose again. But you know, everybody in the conference know that. I think everybody has maybe 1 loss. Maybe Prairie View don't, you know, but they on the other side. So it's very competitive, and it's really not a dominant team. And so I really wouldn't be surprised if everybody wound up with 2 losses. But I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. But if we went out, again, we control our own destiny, just like everybody else right now still control their own destiny. And so we just got to win out 1 game at a time and start this week and get back on track.
Coming up next, we've got homecoming week right here on the Hill, and after the break, we'll talk about Alabama A&M's next opponent, which is Jackson State, and they're led by a Pro Football Hall of Famer. We'll talk about the preview of that matchup next.
Darryl brings new energy to the power plant. Julian's accounting is by the numbers. They're student interns from the College of Business and Public Affairs at Alabama A&M University, where marketing class connects with the community and companies come to recruit. So while Kyle strengthens his managerial skills, he's earning a business degree and experience at Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
Bulldog fans, the Alabama A&M Athletics Department is calling on you to help our student athletes. The Bulldog Strong Fund focuses on our student athletes by encouraging competition, During this global pandemic, competitive excellence takes on a new definition for our Bulldogs. This fund enhances our efforts to ensure our athletic department can service each team to become a prominent national competitor in all aspects of NCAA Division I athletics. Donation to the Bulldog Strong Fund will be used to cover student athletic scholarships, supporting recruiting efforts, and creating additional health and wellness initiatives. We're under tough and challenging times, but with your support, the Bulldog Strong Fund will thrive. Donations of all sizes make a huge difference and are greatly appreciated. Visit amusports.com to learn more about the Bulldog Strong Fund and how you can donate now. Thank you in advance for your continued support of Alabama A&M athletics and our student athletes. Go Bulldogs!
Union Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, a church with a big heart of love. Located at 315 Winchester Road in Huntsville, Alabama. Under the leadership of Dr. O. Wendell Davis. The worship services begin at 7:45 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. every Sunday. Now, we pray that you are blessed by our worship experience.
Engineering and science usually look like this, but our students build race cars from the ground up, explore wind tunnels, particle accelerators, and crystal growth. Our studies in cybersecurity and rocket propulsion have tech companies like Google and SpaceX recruiting at Alabama A&M University, with one of the highest percentages of women STEM graduates in the country. Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
And welcome back to the final segment of the Alabama A&M Football Review Show with Coach Connell Maynor. I'm Mo Carter filling in for Ted Dixie. Coach, the Grambling week is officially over, and now you return home for a huge matchup in the SWAC East Division. But before we talk about the opponent, there are some other things going on. It is homecoming on the hill. My former head coach, Pete Richardson, along with another buddy of yours, Terrence Graves, used to always tell us as a player, when I was a player, that homecoming isn't for you. It's for the alums. It's for the fans. It's for the administration. Do you kind of share those same sentiments to your players when it gets around a homecoming week?
I do, 100%. Homecoming is not for us. Homecoming is for the graduated alumni, the students that's here now, your parents, your friends, everybody else except for us, because they're coming back to celebrate, and then they're coming back to watch a football game, and they want to see us win the football game. So we have to get prepared to play our best, put on the best show we can to win the football game, to make homecoming a happy homecoming for everybody. We won't be going to any gospel concerts or any step shows or any Greek shows or anything else. If they do, they'll be a regular student, just like the people that go.
Totally
Very simple. Very simple.
I totally get you, man. I totally get you. I've had former teammates who have been in that same situation. And where were they watching the game at on that Saturday? In the stands.
That's right.
All right, so we talk about the upcoming schedule. Really, ever since your schedule came out for the fall, I'd always said that this October stretch was going to be very, very important, not only for your team, but really for the SWAC East Division. And it all starts with Jackson State on this upcoming Saturday for your homecoming game. Of course, they're led by Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. What are your thoughts about what the Tigers have been able to do this year so far?
They're doing a great job. I think they're 3-1. And we're 3-1, so Coach Sanders has done a great job in a short period of time at Jackson and got them to where they are at 3-1, and with opportunity to compete for the SWAC championship. So, you know, we know they're a well-coached football team, and they're hungry, and they're gonna come out. They'll be coming after us. They possibly could be the #1 team in HBCU when we play. I don't know. You know, the guys have to vote on that, and then we'll see. But that's irrelevant. We got to win a football game. We got to get ready to play, and we got to stay focused because we're going to have a lot of distractions around us this week, and we got to worry about Jackson State and getting prepared for those guys.
Now, when you played them in the spring, it was a shootout out there in Jackson. Of course, you guys prevailed and got the W, and of course that propelled you into winning the SWAC in the spring. Do you think there's a possibility that we may see a lot of points scored on Saturday, especially with your guy Quill Glass and his son Shadur Sanders putting up top numbers in the passing games?
Well, it could be. We never know. That's why we play the games. We don't anticipate a low scoring. We don't anticipate a high scoring. we just want to go out and play our hardest for one play at a time for 4 quarters, and we'll see how the chips fall and what the score is at the end of the football game. But it could be another shootout. We don't know. We have to be prepared for a shootout or a low-scoring game. As long as we come out on top, it don't matter to me.
Of course, there's going to be a lot of people in the stands for this game, and of course, there's also going to be a nationally televised audience as well checking out this game. ESPN Plus is picking it up, so I think Jay Walker, Tiffany Green, I think are doing the play-by-play on that. Just talk about the exposure that this game, what it means for the school and also for the conference.
Great. Anytime you get a national TV game or ESPN Plus, we just played on ESPN Plus last week, so all our alumni from all over California, no matter where you are, you can tune in on ESPN Plus and watch the games. And so it's always a plus that our student athletes get to play on national TV just like all the other student athletes at the Power Fives. And their family can watch them no matter where they are. So that helps out in recruiting because we can recruit a kid from anywhere and say, look, you're still going to be on TV. Your mama's still going to be able to see you play if you come to A&M or if you go to Alabama. Or if you go to Clemson. And so those are always great. And then for the SWAC to be able to promote the SWAC and show everybody that SWAC has good football, and you can see it on national TV, that we do have good football. And we got good commentators too.
Definitely, definitely. Well, everyone, you heard it here. Coach Connell Manor is looking forward to the next game right here at Lewis Cruz Stadium. It's homecoming on the heels. Alabama A&M takes on Jackson State in a pivotal SWAC East Division game. That game will kick off at 2 p.m. right here in Huntsville, Alabama at Lewis Cruz Stadium.
Bulldog fans, thank you for joining us today for the Alabama A&M University Football Review. Bulldog faithful, we encourage your support and participation. Until next time, go Bulldogs!